There is a strange moment that feels like magic. It is when an idea leaves your head and becomes a place you can walk around in. Not a drawing. Not a plan. A place. You turn your view and it is still there. You move forward and it responds. That feeling is why people fall in love with games, and it is also why people feel locked out of making them. Because for a long time, building a 3D world has felt like building a house with your bare hands. You need tools, time, skills, and a lot of quiet patience. Most people never even start, not because they do not have imagination, but because the first step is too heavy. That is the context behind this new promise. Use a few words, and a winter village appears. Add a gate, add lanterns, add a wolf, add snow, then press play and move through it. It looks like the gap between imagination and creation is shrinking. And it is shrinking. But the deeper story is not only about speed. It is about what happens to us when creation becomes easier, and what happens to us when the world becomes something we can shape in real time. Inside one is the surface concept, that building is more fun when it feels like play. When someone says they are making a game and they look stressed, you can tell they are carrying the whole thing alone. They are thinking about code, scale, art, bugs, performance, rules, timing, and they are thinking about it all at once. It becomes work before it becomes play. But when a world appears quickly, and you can move an object with your hand, and you can switch the light from day to night, something changes inside the creator. The creator stops acting like a manager and starts acting like a curious kid again. They try things. They test silly ideas. They add a palm tree to a snowy village just to see what happens. They laugh when it looks wrong, then they move it, then they try again. This is not a small change. Play is not the opposite of serious work. Play is a way to stay in motion without fear. It keeps you from freezing at the first mistake. It makes the world feel safe enough to explore. When building becomes playful, people build more, not because they suddenly have more talent, but because they can stay with the process longer. They stop needing the first version to be perfect. They let the first version be a draft. They treat it like clay. And that is how real creativity usually works, a pile of rough attempts, one small improvement at a time. Insight 2 is the hidden assumption that the hard part of creation is making assets, when often the hard part is making choices. A tool can generate a pagoda, a house, trees, a snowmobile, and a cute animal. It can place them in a scene that looks coherent. It can even guess that lanterns should glow at night. That is impressive. But notice what is really happening under the surface. The tool is not only making objects. It is making decisions. It decides what looks like a village. It decides what feels like winter. It decides where things go. It decides what kind of wolf fits the style. It decides what lighting should do. And because it is fast, it makes these decisions before you even realize you needed to decide. This is where the danger quietly enters. When choices are made for you, you can start to forget that choices are the whole point. You can start to confuse a finished-looking scene with a meaningful scene. You can start to think that creativity is mainly about generating content, when creativity is mainly about selecting, shaping, and saying no. A fast tool can fill space. It can decorate. It can impress a crowd. But a real world that people remember has something else. It has intention. It has a reason for every strange detail. It has a feeling that the creator knew what they were doing, even if they did it with simple tools. When you build a world, the question is not only what is in it. The question is why it is there. Why does the gate matter? Why is the wolf near the trees? Why can you ride the snowmobile? Why does night make the lanterns glow, and what does that do to the mood? The hidden assumption is that making becomes easier, so meaning will also become easier. But meaning does not get generated. Meaning gets chosen. Meaning comes from the hard small moment where you decide what you want the player to feel, then you shape the world to serve that feeling. Insight 3 is the structural pattern, that the future of making will be social, whether we like it or not. In the old model, you build alone, then you show the result later. It is like writing a letter, you seal it, you send it, you wait. In this new model, people watch you build. They suggest changes in real time. Someone joins from far away, they step into your world while you are still shaping it. The build becomes a shared event. And this is not only about fun, it changes what kind of worlds get made. When you build with an audience, you feel a new pressure. You want to keep it moving. You want to give people something to react to. You might add the big truck, even if it does not fit, because it creates energy. You might keep the palm tree, because it is weird in a way people enjoy. You might feel pulled toward surprise, toward fast jokes, toward quick wins. That is not always bad. It can create fresh combinations that you would never choose alone. It can break habits. It can open your imagination. But it also creates a new risk. You can become a performer of making instead of a maker. You can start building for reaction instead of building for experience. You can start chasing what gets the loudest response in the moment. This is the pattern we see everywhere when tools get social. The crowd can be a gift, and the crowd can be a trap. The crowd can help you escape your own limits, and the crowd can push you into shallow choices. So the skill we need is not only learning the tool. The skill is learning how to stay grounded while building with others, how to listen without losing your own thread. Now comes the reframing. The real transformation here is not that AI makes 3D easy. The real transformation is that AI turns 3D into conversation. You say a few words, the world answers. You add a detail, the world changes. You move an object, the mood shifts. You change time of day, the scene tells a different story. This back and forth is what people have always wanted. Because we do not think in perfect blueprints. We think in tries. We think in, let me see it, no that is not it, closer, almost, yes, now. AI makes that loop shorter. It makes the world more responsive to your curiosity. And that is why it feels like superpowers. But superpowers come with responsibility. When the loop is fast, it is easier to skip reflection. It is easier to stop asking what you really want. So the new question is not, can AI build a world? The new question is, can you keep your own taste alive while AI builds quickly around you? Can you keep your own voice in a space that can be filled instantly? Can you slow down inside the speed? Can you choose meaning instead of accepting the first good-looking result? Application to daily life can start very small, even if you never touch Roblox or any game engine. Notice how often you use tools that give you quick results. Auto-suggestions. Templates. Filters. One-click edits. They save time. They also make choices on your behalf. The practice is to pause after the first result and ask yourself, is this mine? Not, is this good? Is this mine? When you write a message and the phone suggests the next line, you can accept it, or you can edit it so it sounds like you. When you make a video and the tool offers a style, you can use it, or you can change one thing so it carries your taste. When you plan your week and an app fills the schedule, you can follow it, or you can move one piece so your day feels humane. This is the same skill in different clothes. Use the machine for speed, then use your human sense for meaning. In 3D creation, it can look like this. Let the AI generate the village fast. Then stop and decide one clear purpose for the scene. Maybe it is calm. Maybe it is mystery. Maybe it is comedy. Then adjust 3 things to match that. Purpose. If it is calm, reduce clutter, move vehicles away, keep a quiet path, let the snow feel soft. If it is mystery, place lanterns as breadcrumbs, hide the wolf in shadow, make the gate feel like a threshold. If it is comedy, keep the palm tree, make the snowmobile too big, make the wolf overly cute, let the world wink at the player through small surprises. The point is not which choice is right. The point is that you make the choice. And when you build with friends, the same rule applies. Let the group throw wild ideas into the pool. Then pick one thread and commit to it. You can say yes to people and still guide the shape. You can say, that is funny, and we will keep it, but we will place it in a way that supports the mood. This is how co-creation becomes more than noise. It becomes shared direction. Optional deepening is to notice what this does to identity. When someone has never built a 3D world before, they often say, "I am not that kind of person. I am not a game maker. I do not code. I do not do art." Then they type a prompt, and a world appears, and they walk through it, and something subtle happens. They start to see themselves differently. Not as someone outside the world of creation, but as someone who can shape a space. That identity shift can be powerful. But it can also be fragile. Because if you believe your power comes only from the tool, then when the tool fails, your identity collapses. So the deeper goal is to attach your identity to the part that is truly yours. Your curiosity. Your taste. Your patience. Your ability to notice what feels off. Your ability to adjust. Your ability to stay with the work when it stops being magical and starts being real. That is what makes a creator, not perfect skills, but the willingness to keep shaping. AI can give you a starting point, but it cannot give you your reasons. It cannot give you your care. It cannot give you your sense of what matters. And the world we are entering will be full of fast-generated spaces, full of impressive scenes, full of good enough results. The people who stand out will not be the ones who generate the most. They will be the ones who choose the most wisely, who make a simple world feel alive because it carries a clear human intention. So as these tools get stronger and faster, and as building becomes more like conversation, what small rule will you set for yourself to make sure the worlds you create still feel like they came from you?